President-elect Donald Trump hitting the road today, kicking off a thank you tour of sorts in the Rust Belt. Good morning to you. Welcome to Happening Now. I'm John Scott.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jenna Lee. Mr. Trump and Vice President-elect Mike Pence begin with a stop at the Carrier factory in Indianapolis, where they plan to salute in some sort of a word as this deal that will keep about 1,000 jobs in Indiana. Then it's off to Cincinnati, Ohio, where the pair will hold a rally. Attendance for that event is already expected to be huge. Peter Doocy is live outside Trump Tower in New York City. Peter?
And Jenna, the president-elect is saying Carrier made the right move because he thinks they are going to make a lot of money with products produced at this factory that will be staffed in Indiana by 1,000 American workers who get to keep their jobs because of a deal that was just struck. We know this because Mr. Trump tweeted this, quote, "Look forward to going to Indiana tomorrow in order to be with the great workers of Carrier. They will sell many air conditioners." I spoke this morning to the president of the union that represents these Carrier workers. His name is Chuck Jones, and he says he was shocked a deal got done because he says, in his experience, it's hard to convince a company that wants to close a factory to reverse course, but that since Carrier is going to stay put, schools and small businesses that would have otherwise been hurting if everybody in the community was looking for work are going to be able to stay afloat. We are also now hearing from some of these workers who don't have to worry about finding new jobs, and even the lifelong Democrats are extremely grateful.
Just thank you for taking the time. I mean, you're not even the actual president of the United States yet. You're president-elect. But you've done more in your first 3 weeks of being elected than the last, the current administration has done in the last 9 months for us, for anybody.
Carrier is explaining that a deal made sense to them because this, quote, "The incoming Trump-Pence administration has emphasized to us its commitment to support the business community and create an improved, more competitive U.S. business climate. The incentives offered by the state were an important consideration." So there was a business benefit for Carrier to stay put. There's obviously a huge political benefit for Trump in delivering on a major campaign promise, and we do expect to get some more details about how all this came to be about 3 hours from right now when the president-elect and the vice president-elect hit that factory in Indianapolis. Jenna?
Peter, thank you.
Well, the names President-elect Trump has chosen for his cabinet combine to provide the richest administration in modern American history. And his team is coming under fire for appointing two wealthy Wall Street insiders to run the Treasury and Commerce departments, with Senator Elizabeth Warren calling those appointments in essence a betrayal of those who voted for Mr. Trump. Joining us now, Josh Kraushaar, politics editor for the National Journal, and Jamie Weinstein, senior writer for the Daily Caller and host of the Jamie Weinstein Show podcast. Jamie, you could expect that Elizabeth Warren would probably not be happy with just about anybody that Donald Trump would pick for his cabinet. But what about this idea that it's a betrayal? Is it?
Well, the American people just elected a guy who lives 60 stories above Manhattan, what appears to be a replica of one of Saddam Hussein's palaces. So I'm not so sure they're worried about what the net worth of those who are leading them happens to be. I think they care about what gets done. If Donald Trump appointed all billionaires and they did a tremendous job for Donald Trump's voters, I'm not sure they would be so upset by the fact that they were all wealthy. At the end of the day, it's the results that they produce. It's not the money in their bank account. So I'm not sure this is going to be seen as a betrayal. What might be seen as a betrayal is if they don't perform.
Josh, I'm reminded of the old saying, when was the last time you took a job from a poor man? I mean, you generally have to be wealthy to know how to run complicated organizations, or those two qualities often go hand in hand. What do you make of the selection so far and the criticism that's being leveled toward the incoming administration?
Well, look, it's pretty clear that Donald Trump's governing instincts are a lot different than the political rhetoric that he displayed on the campaign trail. And I think it's to his incoming administration's benefit. You have a lot of Wall Street experience when you look at Steve Mnuchin and Ross at Commerce, and you have Elaine Chao, who's going to be probably a big asset, not just because of her relationship to the Senate Majority Leader at Transportation. Keep in mind, Trump is looking to pass a big infrastructure bill in his first 100 days, and having someone with those connections is an asset. It's going to help her get, or help Trump rather, get legislation through Congress. So politically, it's a little bit dicey. But look, every president, every candidate campaigns with certain rhetoric, but then they change their tack when governing, and Trump is following course in that tradition.
Yeah, and he starts out, Jamie, with a win. This Carrier thing, that's 1,000 jobs that would have gone overseas or would have gone to Mexico had he not, strong-armed the company a little bit.
Well, it's no question it's a tremendous PR coup for Donald Trump. He obviously campaigned, he mentioned Carrier quite a bit. But I'm not sure how this translates to policy. Is he going to call every company that's thinking about moving overseas and try to negotiate with them? Does that mean he might be in support of bailouts, massive bailouts that a lot of conservatives criticize President Obama for engaging in, like the auto bailout that saved millions of jobs in President Obama's estimation? Would Donald Trump do that to save jobs? So I don't know what the policy implications of this. Could it be also that it's a decoy, a PR decoy, to kind of satisfy part of his base, to show something high profile, even if low impact on a mass scale, only 1,000 jobs, while important for those 1,000 people, not huge for the entire economy, so he can move in a different direction in other policy areas. So we're going to have to see how this actually plays out in terms of how he actually governs as president of the United States, because it's hard to see he can do this on a case-by-case basis like he did with Carrier.
Josh, as you know, most Republicans kept Donald Trump at arm's length during the campaign season. Now that he's picked some of the people he has to be in his cabinet, are minds being changed?
Well, look, Republicans are pretty unified right now, which is a big difference from what we've seen over the last 6 years. And I think the people to watch are the Senate Democrats from these Midwestern conservative-minded states that are up for re-election in 2018. One of them is Indiana Senator Joe Donnelly, who is going to be interesting to watch his reaction to the Carrier deal. And Heidi Heitkamp, another Democratic senator in a red state, she's meeting with the Trump transition team this week. So I think you actually might see some of these red state Democrats a lot more willing to work with Donald Trump than we would have expected before he was elected.
We just got that word this morning. Intriguing events. A lot of interesting names coming into Trump Tower. Heidi Heitkamp being one of them on Friday. Josh, Jamie, thank you both.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Well, the President-elect and Vice President-elect Mike Pence kick off their thank you tour in Cincinnati today. Starts at 7 p.m. Eastern, and at 10, Sean Hannity sits down with Mr. Trump in an exclusive interview right here on Fox News Channel.